my push line fits. The Smith & Wesson M&P Shield is one of the guns of the world. For about $82, the owner of this firearm could have bought himself about 7 to 8 Chicken McNugget meals from McDonald's, depending on where you're from. Now, whether or not he made a smart financial decision, I'll leave to you, the viewers. But in today's video, let us examine this fine piece of American craftsmanship. As far as what you get out of this package, you get a polymer frame striker fire subcompact pistol with about a 3-inch barrel, overall length about 6 inches, and when it comes to the weight, it's about 16 ounces. You get 2 main safeties. You get a manual safety on the frame, up for safe, down for fire, and when you're in that safe position, it blocks the trigger, but you're still able to pull that side back. And you also have a trigger safety. It's just this hinge right here. If you don't engage it properly, it's not gonna go off on you, but once you engage it, the gun will go off. On this side of the frame, you also have your slide release right there. And you also have your takedown lever as well. You also have a push button magazine release. Let me see if I can show you guys. And the magazines drop out just like that. With the flush fit magazines, they hold about 7 rounds plus 1, but with the extended base plate magazines, they hold 8 plus 1, and you'll see they also have extended stipplings and grip panels on these magazines. Now, when it comes to the actual stippling and grips of the gun, you have your basic stipplings on either side of the frame right there. You have some back panels, some front panels, and you even have some under the trigger guard. And for whatever reason, you also have some stippling at the end or at the back of the side. I don't know why you would need it, but it's there. On the top of the side, you have a loaded chamber indicator. When the gun's empty, it's going to be blank or black like this. And let me see if I can load it for you. Let's see. I already have a mag in there. But anyways, I have some dummy rounds in there, so these are fake bullets. But once I go to load a round, it's going to show off a little bit of that round in there. It might be a little hard for you guys to see, but it'll indicate whether or not you have a round loaded in that chamber. But overall, that's more or less what you're gonna get out of this package. Before I forget, you also get some just basic 3-dot sights. It's nothing real special. You kind of just get this with every other package of this same caliber. But yeah, that's more or less what you're getting out of this gun. As far as things that I like about the gun itself, I really like how the gun grips in my hand. It just has a really nice narrow grip thanks to those single stack magazines, and it makes gripping the gun really comfortable for me personally. I could get a nice firm grip, and it's just a really comfortable package overall. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to say just because I haven't shot the gun yet, so I can't really say anything else further as far as things that I like. But me personally, just so far, I just like how that grip feels in my hand. As far as things that I don't like about the gun, me personally, the biggest thing, it has to be the triggers right there. I find the triggers to be quite gritty, especially because of that lever safety right there. So as you can see, there's this little notch right there that comes out of the way once that trigger is depressed, or once that trigger safety is depressed. But if you don't get it just right, it gets hung up on the frame, and it makes the trigger pull really gritty, and it gets hung up so much. Now, if you get it right perfectly, then it doesn't happen. But if you just go like right there, it's really annoying to kind of pull through. And even if you pull through that trigger, it's quite stout for me personally. It's about like a 6.5 pound trigger if I remember correctly. And hopefully you'll be able to see, but It has a defined wall right there, and then you pull, 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 and it breaks. Me personally, I don't like how heavy these triggers are. I'm just so used to, or I guess I'm so spoiled with a lot of CZ triggers that these triggers are kind of heavy for my liking personally. Now, some people may like these kind of heavier triggers for concealed carry. It might be kind of a safety concern, but me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it at all. And secondly, it's also the slide release right there. Now, I don't know if this is a M&P Shield thing or if it's just this gun right here, but these slide releases are very stiff. So you can see right there, if I depress it, hopefully it'll focus for you guys, but it is very, very, very stiff. So it's almost a two-hander, these ones. Goodness gracious. But yeah, it is really stiff. Now, what I highly suspect is this may be a cleaning thing, and maybe it just needs to be lubed up or something, but these slide releases are almost unusable. And yeah, I don't know if it's like with other M&P Shields as well, but I just wouldn't want to be using this too much. Now, of course, you can always just pull the slide back just fine, but in my opinion, if you have a slide release, use the slide release. But those are the two real issues when with what I have with this gun itself, but overall, it's fine. Pretty much this gun falls into that subcompact category. It's light, it's small, and it's quite thin, so it's actually quite ideal for concealed carry if you ever want to consider it for that. It's not going to be weighing too much on your belt where you're going to be sagging too much, and it's not going to imprint nearly as much, so I'd imagine it's not a bad choice when it comes to concealed carry just for that size and that it's a really small package. Now, as far as comparables, I have a couple options. I got three. The closest thing as far as that kind of size category would be this Springfield XD40. As you guys can see, the guns are more or less the same barrel length, but you can see just how big and chunky that XD40 is. But of course, I attributed a lot of that to just this, like the difference in the caliber, and you can see the thickness between the two right there. So those are like kind of the closest comparables I have. Let's see. I do also have this Bulgarian Makarov right here, single stack magazine and 9x18 Makarov. So a little closer when it comes to the calibers. So as you guys can see, ever so slightly longer, but not that much more. As far as thickness goes, the Makarov's still a little chunkier than that Shield. And then lastly, I have my CZ75 compact PCR, my favorite gun. And you can see it is quite a bit longer than the Shield right there, and quite a bit chunkier, but of course that is a double stack magazine. And let us focus for a bit, please, and thank you. So you'll see the chunkiness right there and just how long each one is. But yeah, those are just some comparables I have. But overall, this is a fairly small package for what you get. It's not a bad idea to get for a concealed carry as well. So that's gonna do it for my initial impressions of the M&P Shield. And overall, it is a fine gun. It has no trills and no thrills and nothing really of note, to be honest with you. It has just all your standard bells and whistles of any other gun of this same sort of weight class and price point. Nothing special, but I'm sure it works, but it's a fine gun. But overall, that'll do it for those initial reviews. Let us move to the gun range and see how it shoots. So now that the shooting portion is complete, what do I think about the gun now? Well, I tend to think that it's an okay shooter. Like, I had perfect reliability. There was no hiccups, no jams or anything like that. Out of the 100 rounds I shot at this gun, everything shot out just fine, no issues. And with the shooting experience, I found that this gun is a little bit on the snappier side, but it is to be expected. It is a subcompact gun. It's light, has a short barrel, 9mm. It's just naturally gonna be a little snappier than your compacts or your full-size firearms. It's to be expected, but it was a little jumpier for me personally. As far as the kind of shooting experience with the trigger goes, initially I figured that the trigger was on the kind of grittier end, and I wasn't like a huge fan of it. And you can see just like that. But I found when it came time to actually shooting the gun, the trigger grittiness was kind of a non-issue for me personally, and it was fairly negligible as far as like that grittiness goes. I wasn't really focusing on that, and especially if you're gonna be riding the wall, you really don't feel any of that grittiness whatsoever. I didn't have any hangups when it came to the trigger at all. So overall, it's fine. Now, the trigger itself is on the heavier end, but that being said, this gun was intended for concealed carry, so you do want those heavier trigger pulls, but I'm just used to CZ triggers and having those kind of like hairline triggers, but it's okay. It's not a perfect trigger, it's on the heavier end, but it'll serve you just fine. When it came down to accuracy goes, I'll have to admit I didn't have the best performance when it came down to this pistol, but I really don't blame this pistol all too much, just because when it comes to pistols, I tend to believe that the pistols or the guns themselves are gonna be way more accurate than yourself, just because you don't have that many points of contact, and a lot of it has to do with kind of how you control that trigger, how you control that recoil. And here are the best groupings I have for this gun. Hopefully I'll be able to show you guys clearly. So here's the first one right there. So these are shot about 10 rounds at 10 yards. So here's the first one, and here's the second one. So a lot of low rights right there, as you can see. This one's kind of all over the place, and I really don't blame the gun again, but it is quite on the snappier side. And I attribute this to me just not being acquainted well enough with this gun, and kind of getting used to it, and sort of getting used to that recoil and that snap of that gun and the heavier trigger. So I'd imagine with extra training and more reps, I could easily get these groupings a lot closer together, but those were the performances that I got out of it. So with that being said, would I recommend this gun? It's fine. I think if you want to go for it, go for it. Typically these guns, they're not on the kind of more expensive end, but I definitely think you do have some better options. This is a okay gun. In my opinion, if you're going to get something like this, I would tend to go for like the M&P Shield Plus. I think it kind of improves. It's kind of like a bigger improvement of this gun in almost every way, in my opinion. But that being said, this is my review on the M&P Shield. Hopefully you guys found this video entertaining and informative, and if you do, hopefully I'll be able to retain your follower if you just subscribe to me. And if you want to follow me, I do have some social media such as Instagram and Discord, where we do talk about all these different guns, and it's a good bunch of guys who talk about guns and gear, share photos, and you can talk to me on there if you wanted to. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully I can see you guys on the next one, and let me know if I missed anything, or if you have anything else to comment about this video or any videos in the future. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching again, and Zigzion.